Welcome to everyone who is joining us tonight. I'd like to take an opportunity to read to you our LA County's land acknowledgement. The County of Los Angeles recognizes that we occupy land originally and still inhabited and cared for by the Tongva, Taktaviam, Serrano, Quichua people. We honor and pay respects to their elders and descendants, past, present, and emerging, as they continue their stewardships of these lands and waters. We acknowledge that settler colonization resulted in land seizure, disease, subjugation, slavery, relocation, broken promises, genocide, and multi-generational trauma. This acknowledgement demonstrates our responsibility and commitment to healing, truth, reconciliation, and elevating the stories, culture, and community of the original inhabitants of Los Angeles County. We are grateful to have the opportunity to work and live on these ancestral lands, and we are dedicated to growing and sustaining relationships with Native peoples and their local tribal governments, including, in no particular order, the Fernandino Taktavian Band of Mission Indians, the Gabrielino Tongva Indians of California Tribal Council, the Gabrielino Tongva San Gabriel Band of Mission Indians, the Gabrielino Band of Mission Indians Quiche Nation, the San Manuel Band of Mission Indians, and the San Fernando Band of Mission Indians. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Uchenna, you want to turn on your camera?
Yes, I'm here. Hello.
There we go. Welcome back. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good. You know, I'm so thrilled that you are an active partner with the LA County Library. I've read so much about you, and unfortunately, I missed you the last time you were here, but you're just doing amazing work. And I love seeing this from younger people who are dedicated to libraries and speaking their truth about what libraries have meant to you, how libraries have impacted your family. And so that's why we're bringing you back, because I think it's really important for young people to hear you, hear the importance that libraries have played in your family. So let's get started. I want to obviously congratulate you on a successful season and your recent contract extension, with the Seahawks. That's incredible.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Thank you.
You know, this program, we talk to a lot of different people. We talk to electeds, we talk to other trailblazers, authors, artists, dancers, chefs. And I have to say, I think you're our first sports figure. So we're breaking grounds with you.
Yeah, awesome.
Do you want to talk to us a little bit about who you are, how you be with us tonight, and just kind of share some of the influences that I've heard you speak on of your parents, I think is who you said, who's really influenced your life and try to bring you and your siblings front and center with the library.
Yes. So hello, everyone. I'm Uchenna Nwosu. Everyone's introduced me already, but figured I'd do it myself. I'm from right here in Los Angeles, California, right here in Carson. Grew up here with my three sisters. Like you mentioned before, my parents really, they didn't always have, the time to spend with us. So the easiest thing to do, because they were working, of course, but the easiest thing to do was to drop us off at the library, I feel my dad figured that's the one place we can go to, to spend our free time to, really gain knowledge, gain education. And who would have thought, it was the best thing for us. So that's really where me and my sister would spend, numerous days in the summertime when we don't have school and, after class, and just, it's really close to the house too. So we would be at the library from all the way until they got off work, just studying, reading, just figuring out the ins and outs of the library. And, it really paid dividends to our lives because we were able to gain so much knowledge there, had access to resources we never had. And I just hope it just continues to grow and, be a better place for the youth.
I love that. Are your parents first generation or second generation Nigerian? Were they born here? Were you born here?
Yes, me and my sisters are first generation. My parents were born in Nigeria and then came over to the United States in the I want to say early 90s. All my siblings were born here.
Mm.
Myself was born here included. We used to live right by USC on Martin Luther King. Grew up there, and then my parents, worked hard. We finally able to get a house in Carson, and we've been there ever since. And my parents are still, they're still learning, of course, still learning the American culture and the American way. But that's why they have all of us. We help teach them and help them to understand what to do and how things work out here. But my parents are great adapters, and they learn. They've been doing it their whole lives. Learning new things. So that's pretty much it about me.
I love that. So in Nigeria, I'm not sure what part of Nigeria. I think based on my research, there are not very many public libraries accessible. So I love to hear that your parents knew to come to this country and come to the library for resources that are free. So have they ever shared with you where they got that idea? Was it something they were doing in Nigeria or something they heard about that there were free resources? Do you know sort of the origin story of your parents' commitment to the public library?
Yeah, so back in their home country, both my grandma was a school teacher. So she would always
Okay.
have books and she would always have, education on hand and she was always preaching education. That's pretty much the big thing with pretty much all African culture, but really Nigeria is education. Always got to have something going for yourself, always try to make it out. They come from such a tough area. So always, want to make sure you're on top of your stuff so you can come to the United States and get further education. So when my dad came here before my mom. So when he came here, he didn't
Okay.
really have a dollar to his name. He stayed with family members, but he was also studying at that time. He wanted to be in, he went to nursing school. He studied, he's currently now a psychiatrist. So he was always in the library, constantly studying, trying to gain information, because, back then, not having much, you couldn't really afford to buy books, so he
That's
would
right.
always, go to the library and, use the internet, try to read, try to figure out. And it worked out for him tremendously. My dad gained so much information. He was able to go off to college out here, and, get his degree. So my dad, it worked for him. So he thought the same plan worked for us as well. So kudos to them. And they're such hard workers and they're a big
Yeah.
inspiration in my life.
I love that story, just that sheer human will to come to this country and just say, I'm going to make a better way for my family. I'm going to use resources like the public library that are free and I have access to. And furthermore, I'm going to teach my kids the value of what the library can offer because clearly it's worked out, Uchenna, because you are here talking to me as an adult, a very prolific sports figure who could have forgotten all about the impact of the library and the impact of your high school. We're going to talk a little bit about your foundation in a little bit, but you haven't. So that signifies to me that your parents really like drove into you the importance of education and the ways that libraries can assist with that. So I want to say thank you to both of your parents. Maybe I should interview next. Let's talk a little bit about how the library helped you and your family when you were growing up in Carson. You kind of touched on this, but can you give us any examples of like, did you and your family all come to the library or I know you said your parents sent you or picked you up there after school? Like what, did you have like family days at the library? Were there any programs that you found that are memorable for you or your sisters or siblings?
No, there were actually no programs that we had. My parents would pretty much just go. We would always go to the library to either like check out books, just to get books to take home and read, or just
Okay.
really much use it as a place of studying. Um,
Okay.
we would always just come in like after school like we would have like tutor. We would meet there with tutors. We would like use that as a place to really get ahead in our education. But it was really no. It wasn't really like me, my mom, we all go in because my parents worked. They didn't really have
Yes.
the free time, free time that they have now to come in there, be all together as one family. But what we would do is we would check out a lot of books and check out different books and go back to the house and read together. But as far as being into the library together as one family, that just couldn't happen with my family.
And I love what you bring up is because your family were that your parents were working. And so that
Yeah.
reflects a lot of the young people who use our libraries. Their parents are working one job, two jobs, sometimes three jobs. Sometimes you have families in multi-generational living situations where they do trust the library to look after their kids while they're working. And then oftentimes we see parents come at 6 or 8 o'clock to pick up their kids and bring them home along with oodles and oodles of books. So I love hearing that. Let's kind of shift gears a little bit because I'm really interested in hearing, like, when did you start playing football? Did you play in high school? Like, what brought you to football?
Honestly, it's really a crazy story. You know how kids, when you start out really young, like what, second grade, I think, or third grade, they call it Pop Warner. I actually tried out for Pop Warner when I can't even remember the age
Nice.
you were, second grade or however, but I actually got cut, believe it or not. I didn't even think that was possible, but I actually
What?
got cut from like, yeah, I actually got cut. It's a funny story. I actually got cut from the team and when I was like a little kid, so, that like tore my spirit in half. I was crying. I was like, oh, yeah, I suck. Like, I'm not good. So after that, I just gave up completely on football. I never played again, never
Oh,
touched it until high school one day. I was a basketball player all throughout. I was always athletic, so it wasn't really a tough transition. The only transition was actually getting hit because I never got hit before. So that was something new.
oh,
But literally, one of my best friends just happened just to go try out one day, and he ended up leaving because he got scared. He was a basketball player. He didn't want to get hit, and I ended up staying. And just look, here I am today. So I thank God for just keeping that within me to stay and fight through and always be my best, always try new things and see where it takes you. So I was very, very happy for that in my life.
Uchenna, I hear a couple of things in this story. One, have you ever found that coach who cut you? Do you think that
Oh
coach
yeah.
knows who you are?
Oh, he absolutely knows who I am. But the funny thing is, I'm really close friends with his son, and his
Okay.
son, like I know his son, so I'm sure he knows all about me. But still, to this day, I always make jokes to his son, like, "Hey, remember your dad cut me from this?"
That's
And we
right.
just we just laugh about it to this day. But yeah, it's all
Yeah.
love. Yeah.
Absolutely. I always say, I have a saying that your best student isn't always your most promising student. So I think you really signify that. And then, so you said you were playing basketball. So clearly you have multitudes of talent. Were there any other sports that you found interesting other than those two that you like kind of dibbled in or dabbed in?
I played a little bit of soccer back in the day when I was
Hmm.
younger.
Hmm.
Played tennis.
Okay.
That's another thing I really encourage, like, parents to do with their kids is not only just have their child playing one sport, have them playing different sports such as baseball for hand-eye coordination if it's possible, baseball
That's
for
right.
hand-eye coordination, soccer for good feet, track for knowing how to run properly. Later get into football, and of course you can do basketball with you, but tackle football I would kind of hold that off just because of a lot of the injuries and head injuries going
That's
on now.
right.
You don't want that into your kid when they're young. So just stuff to get their
Mhm.
athleticism up when they're younger, like I did.
Yeah, so I have a young child, I have a girl child, and she's like exceptionally good at so many different sports. And like you're saying, we try to get her into a lot of different things just to see where her interest is. And it changes, as you know.
Yeah.
And no like high contact sports, but just to try and see like what might stick. Maybe none of it sticks, but at least trying a lot of different options because maybe one will be more promising for her. And really about the sportsmanship, don't you think?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. Clearly, you were a very busy young person, and that continues on today. Let's talk a little bit about how you were able to juggle the schedule. So again, I'm a parent of a young child, and I can't keep up with their schedule. So if you were in all of these sports, and then you were clearly having tutors at the library and your parents are having you bring home oodles of books to read, how did you manage? What did you do?
Well, that's one thing I made sure I managed, because my parents told me if you don't get good grades, you ain't playing. So I
That's
made sure
right.
I was managing, and it's tough, being in that age and wanting to just be around your friends and play sports and having to come home and study. But the older and older I got, I realized that if you don't have the appropriate grades, schools are not going to want you. You're not going to have the opportunity, to go off and fulfill your dreams if you doesn't start in the classroom. And I've seen a lot of talented young individuals that I've played with, lose out on that opportunity to chase their dreams because they weren't studious in the classroom, or because they didn't take it, take the classroom seriously, or they were hanging around with the wrong crowd. So I made sure that wasn't me. I had a good support system around me. I have cousins that also I went to school with, were also very, on top of their education as well, Nigerian background as well. My support system mixed with me wanting to be chasing my dreams and want to be successful all kind of helped me along my journey.
I love hearing that your support system, your family is your first support system. And, I'm looking here at your CV, your sort of vitae, and USC, that's not, it's not like an easy school to get into. You want to talk a little bit about that? Was that your first choice, or was there another school that you kind of hoped you would go to?
No, honestly, that was pretty my only choice. Being a child from Los Angeles and you're getting a scholarship, a call from USC, it's like a no-brainer. Nowadays, kids are going off here and here with all the NIL and, all these different reasons. But as a kid growing up in Los Angeles back then, all you knew was Reggie Bush and, just growing up in Los Angeles with football and USC is like, it was a no-brainer. I had a couple scholarships other places. I was considering going to University of Washington, but God,
Okay.
God called on my heart to stay here in Los Angeles.
Well, it sounds like you got that into that area anyway, so we can
Right.
talk about that. So did you stay on campus when you were here, or did you stay at home? Was that a better fit for you?
Oh, I definitely stayed on campus. When you're a college kid, you don't want to be at home anymore. That's your one opportunity to live life. So when
That's
especially
right.
as a freshman, they put you in dorms, hanging around with the other students, trying to get to know your teammates who you're living with, really try to grow up on your own. So I'm thankful
That's
for that
right.
experience to be able to stay on campus and,
Mhm.
enjoy the things and see how, university and college really worked. And so it was a good
Yeah.
time. It was a good time.
Uchenna, can you recall for our audience, was there like a moment at USC where you it was like one of your favorite highlights, either with sports or your friends or anything that you look back on today and you're like, that moment really helped build who I am today?
Oh, that's a good question. There's a lot of different moments. If we're talking sports, it's probably just, seeing just all the talent that was on the team, just seeing how all these guys are like going off to the NFL and everybody's chasing their dreams. And it's just like, wow, this thing it can really be me. And in terms of just like a non-student, just like kind of like I was kind of starstruck because you're just walking on campus and you're seeing, oh, there goes this person. Oh, here goes this person's son, or here goes this actor. It's like, wow, like where am I? Like this is like a crazy place to be. So I'm just like, dang, all these people are USC and they're great. Like I can be great too. So
That's
just
right.
make sure I just put that on my mind, put that on my heart. Like I'm gonna be great too, no matter what it takes.
And see, what I think what's so phenomenal about that story is that you're saying all of these stars and all these people who that's who you are today. That's like 5 miles away from where you grew up, right?
Yeah.
People don't understand that if they're not from Los Angeles, is that how far 5 miles can be from one neighborhood to another, right? Two different worlds. And it sounds like once you left Carson and you came to USC, like this entire other world opened up for you.
Yeah, yeah, it was a totally different world, especially because it was the first time of me being on my own, being in college at 17, not really knowing what's going on, just
Oh,
kind of
wow,
with the
17.
flow, um, and just really just trying to figure it out. That's really where you have to
Yeah.
grow up. You have, like I said, you have a great support system. The athletics program there, they took real good care of their players. They put them in the right programs, they hooked them up with the right teachers, the right learning professors, everything. So they're giving you the key to success, so why not take advantage of it? And I made sure I did that from the day I stepped foot on campus to the day I left.
That sounds like it. And so, of course, I would be remiss not to ask you this question. Was there ever a time that you didn't want to play? Did you always think, like, once you decided to move from basketball to football, was there ever a moment where you're like, I don't know if I want to do this forever? I don't know if this is my career. Did you ever have that moment
For football?
for football? Yes.
Honestly, no. Like I said, growing up, it was going to high school. You kind of struggling on what you want to do after. It's kind of that phase where, oh, especially if you're an athlete, if am I going to go to college on a scholarship, or am I going to have to figure out something else to do? So, like I said, once I started, getting some exposure in high school, and getting scholarships, and figuring out, okay, schools are interested in me. I didn't even look at it for football. Honestly, I looked at it for a way out, a way to go to college for free without having to have my parents pay, capitalizing on that
100%.
educational key that I got, and just really taking advantage of, okay, this is my foot in the door for the next 4 years. I can figure out what I want to do with my life. I didn't really think of the sports side, but then as things started rolling, things started getting a little better. But no, I never thought to myself, like, no, this is not what I want to do long term. I use it as, okay, this is my next step in life to help me get to where I want to be, help me figure myself out.
I love that. So would it be fair to say that you didn't have other career goals? Like, you settled on, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to be the best at it? Or did you have like a plan B? I know a
I
lot of us
definitely,
always have a plan B. What was your plan B?
yeah. So my plan B was, I always told myself that if sports don't work out for me, I still want to be involved somehow. And I thought, hmm, what's the best way to do that? So I always knew I liked law, always knew I wanted to become a lawyer at some point, but I want to be in sports. So I thought to myself, let me study political science. Maybe I can become a sports lawyer down the road, maybe become an agent, maybe not playing on the field, but
Okay.
still involved with the athletes. Maybe that be on the contractual side, maybe that be on the representing them side when it gets time to
Mhm.
contract negotiations, whatever. But anyway it was going to happen, I was going to be involved in sports.
I love that. So, Uchenna, did you graduate with a political science, a poli-sci degree?
Yes, I did.
Was that your major? Okay. Okay. I didn't know that part.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, you decided, whether you're playing or not, that your passion was the sport. And so you were going to be involved in any way possible. So happens to be you're one of the best linebackers around. So I mean, that's not for nothing, but
Thank
maybe
you.
later you can be a lawyer.
Maybe later.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about our program, our peer advocate program. So Andrea, you are very familiar with it, but for the folks who are listening who's not, this was really an opportunity for the library to center the young people, specifically young men of color, but not exclusively. We also have some young girls that have participated in this program, and get them involved in their public library, kind of like Uchenna talked about for himself, but like building programs and helping to expand our services, really targeting other young people of color. I think one difference with this program is that this program is a paid program, meaning that the young My Brother's Keeper peer advocates are paid for their time. I happen to think that's very important because I too, like Uchenna, grew up at a time where I personally really needed to have an income as a young person. So we've had a lot of young folks very dedicated to the public library, but really needed an income. So can you talk a little bit about this recent funding that I believe you approached us to fund this program? Do you want to talk about like what was the inspiration behind the gift?
Yes. Honestly, just any way that I can help the youth to better themselves and other people is really what I'm here for. It's not even about the money. Even if the opportunity was non-paid, I still would have helped out any way I can. But I think it teaches the peer advocate a life lesson, just how to manage finances, all these different things that go into, because I'm sure they probably never had a paid job before. So they're starting to see what it's like to work, and to work hard and earn. And, it teaches them a life lessons along the way of helping others. So I'm just any way I can help, I'm here for it. That so when this opportunity was presented to me, I jumped at it. I knew it would be great. It teaches the youth a lesson, as well as helping them teach other people lessons and be involved in their community in any other way. So that's just what I'm just so grateful for.
I love that. Thank you so much. So you talked a little bit about the inspiration behind the gift. And as we mentioned earlier, Uchenna is gracious enough to fund this program for 3 solid years, giving hopefully 1 to 3 more or 2 more peer advocates an opportunity to work in the Carson area, in the Carson Library, for with an income. So I want to say thank you so much. It means a ton to me. This is one of the many programs that's near and dear to my heart, because I was a young person who volunteered in my public library, and obviously not for pay, and it was great work, and it would have been even better if I had an opportunity to have an income. So thank you so much. There are a lot of things that impact young people today. What do you feel, how do you feel like you can contribute to impacting their lives? Obviously, you focused in on our library in this program, but what are some of the things that you feel like you can do, or people who are listening, not even just professional athletes? How do you think we can all become the community of support for young people?
Yeah, just like pretty much what you guys do now. Just try to get involved in your community as much as possible. Always go to those reading events, or those, what's the word I'm looking for, when they had all those tents set up outside with different little sections that you guys can go get involved in that. Try to do outreaches to the community. Just any way you can, just try to give back. Get involved with your local parks. See if they need volunteering at night. Just help out with the local boys and girls clubs. Just always just try to be around the youth and just show them that, there's more to life, even if it's not even just sports. There's other ways to be successful in life, and just always just try to be involved, just show, just be around. I feel like that's what people take for granted. Everybody wants to give here and give here and have their name attached to this, but they don't want to be involved. They don't want to put in the groundwork. And that's one thing I pride myself on, is actually, my word is bond, just showing up and, saying I'm gonna do something and being there, not just having my name attached, but also being there in person.
I'll have to co-sign that for Uchenna. He has been with us. He has shown up to programs and met some of the young people who participate in this program. And so he's not only talking the talk, but indeed he's walking the walk. And even this conversation with me, just showing his commitment to, these are simple things. We're just talking, right? I don't even know exactly where you are in the world. I'm making the assumption you're in Washington, but maybe you're someplace else. I'm here in Los Angeles, and this is one of his ways of giving back and just sharing his knowledge with young people in the community at large. This is another way that he can give back to our communities, and in ways that other people can too. Let's talk a little bit about your foundation. So what is your vision for the foundation? What are you hoping that this foundation achieves?
I'm just hoping this foundation just reaches out to as many youth as it can. The Uchenna Nwosu Foundation, we actually just started a couple months ago, and it's basically just to help the youth, education, wellness of sports-minded individuals, even if it's not even all sports, but mainly sports-minded individuals, just to show them that there's more out there than even just being a sports athlete. We try to provide resources any way we can, whether that be backpack giveaways, whether that be just different events to have the youth around, football camps during the summertime, turkey drives, just any way just to give back to the community and show them that, there's health, just wellness and education, and just, I'm on a mission, it's just getting started. I'm already 6 years in the league, but I know I'm a little late, but I'm just trying to, better late than never. That's what they always say. So anyway, I can just here just to give back to the community, my community, is just that's my mission. That's my goal.
I love what you're saying, and I just want to just reflect for you. There is no late. You came exactly when you needed to come, and so don't beat yourself up for that.
Thank you.
It wouldn't be. I do a lot of these interviews, and I ask this same question in different ways. So I'm going to ask you a two-pronged question. So, from your youth, can you remember a book that was really pivotal for you, that really stuck with you, that you can remember a title of today, or even just some of the story?
from my youth, that was a long time ago. But there's actually a book now that I've actually really held on to because I feel like it teaches a lot of, life lessons and just the best way to approach life. And I feel like it's a book that the youth should really read. I know might be a little too much, but it's really definitely a book to read when you're younger. It's called The Four Agreements by Don Miguel
Oh,
Ruiz.
yes. Yes.
Yeah, it's a really good book. Like I said, it teaches like four basic principles, I feel like, of life, talking about how, your word is really what is really about you, how to speak with integrity. You never want to, talk bad about anybody else because everybody's going to go off of what you say, and that's how people judge you. And you want to make sure you're speaking the, everything. You want to make sure everybody trusts what you say. You know, another thing is not to take anything personal. I know a lot of people always tend to listen to the messenger and not the message, but really it's the message that people need to pay attention to in life, and it's not always the messenger. Always listen to what's being said because the way people talk to you is just a reflection of themselves. You always want to listen to what everybody's saying. Pretty much the next thing I think he talks about is never to make assumptions. Especially in my profession of the football world, you never want to make assumptions. You always want to be able to communicate. You always want to be able to ask questions because when you're on that field, you don't want to assume that your brother on the field with you knows what's going on. You want to communicate to him, make sure you guys are on the same page, so you guys can make a good play, you guys can win the game. So I really hold that one near and dear to my heart. And the last one is to always do your best. I feel like that's kind of cliche, but it's really important. Especially what I do in football, you always want to be at your best. Even if you're not playing sports in just life, your work life, always be at your best. Because, like I said, they're always looking for somebody to either replace you with, or they're always looking for a reason to get you out the building and find somebody who can do it, better than you. So you always want to put your best foot forward, and just be the best version of you.
I love that. I was going to ask you what you're reading, but I think you just summarized that so beautifully. And there are several really amazing lessons there, but everyone is replaceable. So put your best foot forward every single day. Come with everything that you got. Uchenna, what advice would you have for young people who aspire to be either athletes or someone who works within the sports arena?
Specifically for young athletes is really just to never give up. Honestly, I know it gets tough. It's kind of cliche. Everyone says that all the time, but you really have to never give up because I've seen, like I always use my profession as an example because I see it every day. You see a lot of guys, they get cut. They get cut, they get released, and then they're going home and they stop working out, or they stop training and start putting in the time that it took for them to get there. And the next thing you know, oh, somebody got hurt. We got to call you to come to the team. We got to call you to come to practice. But what? You gave up. You stopped practicing. You gave up. You're not in shape. Now the coaches and everybody's looking at you like, oh, we can't count on this guy. We have to call somebody else. So you never want to miss that opportunity. So always never give up. That's really my main message to young athletes is just never give up. Even if somebody tells you, you can't do it, always tell yourself that you can. Because there has been many of times when high school where I've told, you can't really do it. You're a basketball player. You've never been hit before, man. You can't do this. And now look at me. Some of those same people that was telling me I can't. They're at home. But look, I never gave up, and look where I am. So it's definitely possible.
I love that.
That just goes throughout all of sports.
Yeah, exactly. And I love what you're saying. It's like, even if you're not succeeding or if you're taken off the team, to keep working at it because your time may be just another month or 3 or a year down the road. Like, don't give up. Don't stop doing the thing that you love to do, like putting in the work. I love that. So this is my last question because I really want to get to some of the questions from our audience. I think you've already answered this, but in the event that you can't, the other big thing that Uchenna wants to say is drink water.
Oh yeah, stay hydrated, guys. Seriously, I drink a gallon of water a day. Stay hydrated.
I don't know if you can see mine. Yes. I can guarantee you I'm not as fit as you, but yes, I co-sign that. What advice would you give to younger viewers today? I know that you just said don't give up and keep going, but is there anything that you want to say? Like, I always think about this. I interpret this question to be like, what would I say to my younger self? If I were talking to my younger self today, what would I tell her? What would you tell young Uchenna or someone like young Uchenna?
I would definitely tell myself, how old am I now? 26? I'll definitely tell myself 10 years ago, 15, 16 years ago, always just to don't be scared to take risks. I mean,
Mm,
it's really tough to do because we're so young and we're like, oh no, I've been doing this, or no, I don't want to do that because for this reason. But take that risk. Go to that event that you've been having on your heart and you've been contemplating in your room. Go to that practice that you're scared to go, or go to that meeting or whatever it is. Go talk to your professor. Go do whatever, but don't be scared to take risks, because only the worst answer you can get is no, or the worst thing that can happen is it doesn't work out. So just don't be
that's right.
scared to take risks. Don't be scared to try new things. I know it's always scary. It's kind of nerve wracking at first, but once you get comfortable going and make it a habit, it'll improve yourself, and you'll see yourself taking off to places you never thought you could go. So always take risks.
Take risks. I always say the worst anyone could ever tell you is no, and we've all heard that before. So it's not as bad as you think, right? So putting yourself out there and living your passion and attempting to live your dream is worth the no, the 100 no's, because at some point there's going to be a yes, and you need to be ready for it.
Exactly.
Uchenna, you are incredible. I want to come over to some of the questions that we have from our audience. So here's a question, and I love this one, and I'm curious what you're going to say. What is your favorite way to unwind after an exhausting day and after drinking your gallon of water?
Well, for me, I'm always sore and hurting, so I like to get a nice massage. You like to get a nice massage. I like to do a lot of stretching. That's really, really very important. I like to stretch so my muscles don't get tired or whatever it may
Mhm.
be. If there's a game on Monday night, Thursday night, Sunday night, I might throw on a game, listen to some good music, talk to my parents, talk to my family, talk to my sisters, make sure everyone's doing well, and just really just sit back and just be thankful for another successful day. There's a lot of things could go wrong and are going wrong in this world, but I'm blessed to be able to be in the position I am. So I like to just really just sit back and just reflect on just life in general.
I love that. Here's a really great question. It's a two-part question. So, one, what is it like being on the field before a big game? And then the second part is, do you ever get nervous? And if you do, how do you center yourself in that moment?
Oh man, it's really exciting, because you see all the bright lights, you see the cameras following you around. This is like, wow, this is so cool. Everybody's watching you. It just gets you all hyped up. So yeah, I just it can get a lot for some people, but I like to take it all in. I like to, enjoy the moment. I like to be present. I like to, just accept everything that's happening around me, and it helps me play better. And what was the second part to that?
Yeah, I love that, because I would be terrified. But the question is, do you ever get nervous? And if you do, what do you do in that moment to center yourself, put yourself back in the game?
Well, when I try not to get nervous. I only get nervous maybe after the first play, and after that, I'm good. But if there's ever a time where I'm just like, oh my gosh, what's happening? I got to slow my brain down. I try to reflect back to, like, my training and how much, time and, effort I put in for this exact moment. It's a huge moment, and, you put in so much hard work for it, and you've trained hours and hours, and, you've done this a million times. So I just try to take myself back to that place of this moment, and just keep telling myself, like, you've been here before, you've done this before, like, this isn't new to you. Just relax and take one breath at a time. So good question.
Mhm. I have a couple of really other great questions here, but I have to ask you, this is my question. How many hours a day do you have to train? Like I guess when you're preparing for season, like I work 10 hours a day, typically, maybe 12, maybe 14. How many hours do you have to rehearse or prepare each day?
Well, if when I'm at the facility, it's about 11 hours, and then after, when I get home, I try to watch another 2.5 hours of, like, film on my own. So
Okay.
that's about 15 hours of preparation every day to get ready for a new team.
So there's like the physicality of it, and then you go home and research, right?
So
Watching
so
the
basically,
games.
so basically in the morning, this is my schedule. I'll just tell you guys my schedule. So I wake up in the morning, I like to go work out, get a good workout in. That takes about, 40 minutes. I'll go and eat breakfast, make sure I'm hydrated, make sure I'm, got good nutrition in my system. And then we'll go to meetings and we'll just break down the team that we're playing and, what they like to do and, study their favorite plays and things like that. And then after that, we'll go on to practice and we'll emulate those exact plays that they do. We'll practice against them against our plays and try to see what fits up best and how to beat it the best. And then after that, it's recovery time. You go get some extra stretching in, or you go sit in the cold tub, or you ice down and things like that. And then after that, you got more meetings and stuff to watch, the practice and how your plays fit up with their plays. And then you go home, you get some food, and then you watch more film and then sleep and then do it again.
I love it. And wow, I had no idea. That's pretty incredible. I have a great question here from Mr. Amir, who is 7 years old. And Amir is asking, what's your favorite food? What's your favorite animal? And what's your favorite color?
My favorite food, I would probably have to say tacos. I love tacos. That's like my cheat meal during. I can't eat that all the time, but like if it's a Friday night or I've had a good day of running, I'll go and get some like tacos. I'll get like 6 tacos, man. I'm going in. What is that? My favorite color? My favorite color
Yes.
is actually rose gold.
Rose gold.
Rose gold. Yeah, I like I feel like it looks good
Yeah.
on my skin tone. No, I just like
Yeah,
rose
I can
gold.
see that. I see that. How about your favorite animal?
My favorite animal has to be a Black Panther.
Oh, there's no pun intended there. I love it. Um, okay, so Amir, I hope you're still listening. He answered all three of your questions. Tacos, I'm going to co-sign with that. Rose gold, I might co-sign with that. And then, of course, the Black
Yeah,
Panther, because,
yeah.
well, we'll get into that. Okay, so here's another question here. So what's your secret to focus and block out distractions while playing on the field? So you talked a little bit about how you center yourself, but how do you not get caught up in all the noise and hype? Like, how do you stay focused?
Man, honestly, that's a tough question because I'm just locked in, just because I know if I'm not locked in, then something bad's gonna happen.
Mm.
I'm going up against 360-pound offensive lineman, so if I'm not locked in on him, he's gonna run me over. I don't want that, so and I'm always having to make sure I'm not the reason my team fails. That's what I try to pride myself on, not being the reason we fail. And so I try to always carry my weight, I always try to lock in, make sure I know what I'm doing on that field. So all the crowd noise and the cameras and the flashing lights, that when I step on that field, none of that means anything. I'm locked into helping my team be successful and for the ultimate goal is to win.
I love that. He does not want to be the reason that the team fails. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Here's one, fellow Trojan here. It says, what's it like working with Pete Carroll?
Oh man, Pete's an amazing guy. Pete is an amazing guy, man. He's just so positive, so uplifting, makes everything. He makes the game of football really feel like when you were a kid playing football. Like that's how it's supposed to be. He makes it fun. He always keeps a great attitude, man. He's still going strong. He's always been a Trojan guy, leading all those championships, and just Pete's just a great guy to be around. If you ever been around him, you'll know that he cares and he genuinely loves every one of his players. And I'm very fortunate to be able to, play with him in the NFL. Didn't get to catch him in college, but I know all about him. He's an SC legend, but it's definitely an honor to be able to play for Pete.
Thank you for that. Here's another question. Do you meditate?
I do hot yoga. I mean, is that kind of
Okay.
meditation? I feel like it's kind of meditation there.
I
No?
do hot yoga too. I'm going to say yes, indeed. That is a form of meditation. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it. Listen to this. Okay. Here's a couple more questions. We have about 5 minutes. So if you have any questions for Mr. Uchenna, please get them in. I'm going to try and get to all of them quickly. How's your family reacting to all of your success? You said your family still lives down here. I make the assumption that your parents live here. I don't know about your sisters or siblings. How do they deal with all of your success? You're famous.
I mean, they're dealing with the same way I'm dealing with it. they have a lot of people at their, jobs, congratulating them and, telling them that I'm doing a good job. And it brings so much joy to my heart, to see them smile and they tell me all these stories about everybody, all their friends. Everybody's just, just congratulating them. And it's awesome to see, so I try to keep doing the best I can to keep seeing the smile on their faces. So, they're handling it. They're famous too, and they got their swag walking around. My dad's got his Seahawks hat on when he walks around. My mom's got her Seahawks jacket on, which I let them have the fame. They love it and they enjoy it. So I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing.
I love that. Are they of the age of retirement so they can kind of enjoy life a little bit more?
Yes, yes. My dad actually just retired about a month ago, so he's still trying to figure out what to do. He's at the house now, bored, but he's enjoying retirement. He's worked hard for so many years. He's put me in this position, so he better enjoy it.
That's right. I hope my daughter does the same for me. Here's another one. What do you think about how do you adapt to the Seattle weather? I go to Seattle often. In fact, I'll get there next in a week and a half. What do you think about that weather?
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I mean, the summertime is really beautiful. The sun's out. Everybody's on boats. It's an amazing time. But when late October hits, man, it's time to layer up. It's constant drizzle. It's the sun doesn't really shine as much. It sucks, but it is what it is. You just got to learn how to adapt, just like you do in football, just like you do in life. You just got to learn how to adapt, and that's what
Learning
I'm
how
learning
to
how to
adapt.
do. I'm staying inside more. I'm learning how to cook. I'm
Okay.
trying
Well, we're
new
going to get to
things.
that question. So you went from it never rains in Southern California to it rains like half the year, if not three-quarters of the year in Seattle, all on the same coast. Go figure that one. Here's another one. What's your favorite music and who's your favorite artist, band, or artist?
I really listen to a lot of rap. That's really what I listen to. A lot of R&B,
Mm-hmm.
the vibes. But I really listen to a
Mm-hmm.
lot of J. Cole. He's really my favorite artist. He's very lyrical. He talks about real life experiences that I really appreciate.
Yes.
He's relatable. He's gone through hard times growing up. So that's really who I like to listen to, especially on game days. He's got some good
Oh,
game day hype songs too now. So J. Cole's my
and
number
he's an
one guy.
incredible lyricist too. So again, I'm seeing all of these like remnants of how literature has played a part of your life, given the fact that you love J. Cole. I love J. Cole. So I have to ask you, who is your favorite Southern California rapper?
Ooh, Nipsey Hussle.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. RIP.
I have some comments on that one, but I'll hold that one for when I see you in person. Okay. Here's another one. What's your favorite thing to cook? People want to know. You're learning how to cook.
Oh,
What are you cooking?
so I try to be, I'm not, okay, look, I'm not the best cook, okay? Don't judge me. I'm not Gordon, what is it, Chef Ramsay? I'm not him, but I'm trying to, I'm learning little things. I'm making, some little short ribs, with a little sauce and
Okay.
some veggie, maybe some steamed broccoli, some white rice. I'm keeping it simple. You guys got to cut me some
Okay.
slack.
Well, we're gonna have you come to our barbecue cook-off next year. See what happens. See what it does. Um, Here's another one for you. What should young people prioritize in learning? I think is the question. So, from your vantage point, what do you think young people need to most focus on? Is how I'm going to interpret that question.
Hmm. Well, I don't know how really school systems are now and what they teach now, but there's a lot of things that I feel like school curriculums can really add into learning, into their curriculums. One thing is really like finances. I don't know if that's really a class in middle schools and I
Should
mean, middle
be.
school might be a little, but definitely high schools. It's definitely finance class, learning how to manage money, learning how to do taxes, things like that, because that's stuff I never knew how to do until I got to the league and I was so far behind. I'm like, whoa, like what, they taking all my money from doing what, they're doing
Right.
this. So you really got to be on top of that. That's very important. That's one thing I wish I learned in high school, is definitely more financial literacy.
Yeah, that's a great segue because one of our peer advocates, I don't know that he's with us anymore. I think he's graduated and gone on to work on his PhD. I think it's the same person. He came on to teach young people about finance, about opening a bank account, about balancing one's checkbook or one's account, and understanding like how much money they take out in taxes, what you can write off in your taxes, like all of this sort of tacit knowledge that if your parents haven't taught you, many young people don't know. So we did have a program here at the library to support that endeavor, and I certainly see an opportunity for us to do it again. It looks like I am ending on this last question here. This is from Eve, your ninth grade teacher, Eve Summers, your ninth grade teacher remembers you. She says kids can be silly. She says kids can be silly and goofy and grow up to be successful. She says greetings and thank you your dad. That is so amazing.
Thanks, Miss Summers. I really appreciate that. Hope you're doing well. Hope all is well with you.
And again, Miss Summers, I'm not sure if you were listening earlier when I said your best student is not always your promising student. And I have a feeling Uchenna was both of those, but in the event that he wasn't, he has definitely come around and proven himself today. Okay, so I think I got to all of our questions, Uchenna. I don't want to keep you all night, although I could sit here and chop it up with you all evening. Is there anything you want to close with or anything you'd like to say to our audience listening? We have a full house and I simply cannot get to all the questions.
Yeah, just, I want to thank you guys for listening to me talk. I know this was a long talk and you guys probably could be doing plenty of other better things, but you guys decided to stop in and listen to me talk, and I really appreciate it. And, as always, make a difference in your community any way you can. Always don't forget to take risks and never give up.
I love that. Uchenna Nwosu, our linebacker for Seattle Seahawks. And
quarterback of the library.
That's right. Or would I be the quarterback of the library? No, I'm gonna give that one to you. Thank you so much for talking with us. For those of you who joined late, we will have this talk a little bit edited a bit on our website. Thank you so much, Uchenna. Thank you to the Library Foundation and to all the team who puts these Trailblazers together. We'll see you soon. Take good care.